In this video, I will begin to build every single Angry Birds level out of Lego, from the classic to Angry Birds Space, and as well as every other collab game that Angry Birds has ever made. The entire Angry Birds game franchise has over 300 levels, and if I make all of them in one video, it will last way too long. So I will only be building the first 10. From the amount I'm building in this video only, this will be a very long series. So if you're interested, make sure to stick around until the end by subscribing and hitting the bell to get notified on the next episode of the series. And without further ado, let's begin this everlasting challenge. So for the first level, I'm obviously going to choose the first Angry Birds level ever made. Poached Eggs 1-1 from Angry Birds Classic. Most of these levels will be built on these green plates that represents grass. This whole tower the pigs built stands on this wooden base, so let's build this before everything. For the first step, let's place these small pillars. This wooden base has this little pattern in between each pillar, so I made that next by using some illegal building techniques. Then after that, I added these plates that holds the entire level. And finally, I smoothed the surface by adding some tiles on top. Afterwards, I took some masonry bricks and flat tiles in medium nougat and built these building blocks that the piggies use to build their shelters. Now let's use these to build the first level. There are also these grass blocks that are built the exact same way, except it's in trans dark blue. This was 5 minutes wasted for nothing. Now let's actually build this without destroying the whole thing this time. Now that the tower is built, the last thing to add is the piggies. I built these little guys with a cool play feature where they pop, just like in game. Now let's put this guy in the tower. Now that the pig's defense is built, let's completely destroy it with this slingshot I constructed. This slingshot mechanism is similar to the official toy slingshot, where its rubber band is solid and the pigs get thrown by a spring-loaded mechanism under the slingshot's base. I really wanted to make a traditional slingshot for this, but the last time I did this, there was nothing but chaos and broken Lego afterwards. So let's just stick with this one. This level is completable using red, the starter bird. Let's put him in the slingshot and launch away. Nice, I actually beat this in one try. Now let's move on to level 2. This level stands on this long rock platform with a large slope towards the end. I replicated this by placing some reddish brown bricks on this green base here, then added some plates and tiles on top to make the surface smooth like in game, and then rebuilt the large slope by using some cheese slopes and other parts. And now we have the platform built. Next, let's build these T-shaped pillars with the pigs to stand on. I added these 1x2 black tiles earlier to mark exactly where to place these. This level introduced a new type of material, rock. This material can't be broken by regular birds, only special ones that we'll see later in the series. I can't really replicate this in Lego because almost every piece to make this weighed the same, so I only changed the color from medium nougat to light bluish gray. All we have left to do now is add the pigs. One of them had to have brickhead eyes because I only have 5 regular eye studs. And now we can launch the birds. And I beat this in the first try once again. These levels get progressively harder later throughout the video, especially the building process. Let's now build 1-3. This level is actually so much easier than the first two, especially build-wise. So let's start by building this little hill where on top will stand a Lego cylinder. This cylinder represents this wood ball found in the original level. It's made from a 2x2 round brick with a 2x2 round tile in tan to cover it up. There is also a strange looking statue on the far right of this level. I put these green cheese slopes to hold the blocks better. They also look like grass, so they're not too awkward in this build. First head, I used the original yellow Lego minifig head, and it looks exactly like in game. I swear, Angry Birds was so meant to be turned into Lego. Now let's add the pig and launch the birds. I'm actually way too good at this. I almost didn't build level 1-4 because this is physically impossible to recreate since gravity is a thing, but I somehow found a way to replicate this. And that was only possible with the help of sticky putty. This stuff carried the whole build and I had to put some between 90% of the blocks, making the gameplay ridiculously unrealistic. This is so ridiculous, but I did end up hitting the pig on my last bird. 1-5 was really fun to build. It wasn't like the other levels where I had to extremely be careful to not break what I've been working on. This level was really sturdy and normal, unlike the last level. I really liked this castle design they were going for. What I didn't like though was my lack of skill displayed here. How did I fumble this hard? Anyways, it's now time to build level 1-6. First, let's add these blocks on this base and build these two little castle type builds. I like how they use the most fragile materials to build these little castles. That was a pretty peculiar way to take down this pig here. Let's try to take down the second one now. Oh my goodness, this was the worst throw ever. Anyways, let's move on to building 1-7, which is another castle level. This is starting to get repetitive, but I'll admit this castle build is quite unique, but not in a good way, for the pigs at least. Just like level 1-6, most of the castle is made of glass, except this castle is much bigger, which makes it 10 times more easy to break. I swear, who is designing these shelters for them? I lost the footage of me finishing this, so here's the full build. Now all we have left is breaking this whole thing down. There's only one thing wrong that I realized. The firepower on this slingshot is horrible. So let's fix this by making this rubber band 2 times smaller, giving it way more firepower. Now let's fire these birds. And we actually managed to beat this level on the last bird. 1-8 was one of the more complicated levels to build. It's basically a giant arch. This may sound easy to build, but it's pretty hard to build a giant arch out of Lego without it looking blocky in some sort. And this one has a really odd shape, which adds to the challenge. So first I built these 2 2x6 reddish brown pillars. I then added these snot bricks, then attached some reddish brown slopes to the side studs and tiled the rest off. On top of all this, I added this upside down T looking piece. It has these studs on the side, which are there to attach these larger brick built slopes. And on top of all this, I added this cone shaped piece that I built using a pretty interesting building technique. Now let's add the pigs and other stuff like these pillars to protect them, and let's not forget to add this chest just like in the original level. Now it's time to beat this. After the second launch, I elevated the slingshot a little bit because I kept hitting the same height. And even after cheating, I still lost. Hopefully we do better though on level 1-9, which looks suspiciously familiar. Anyways, let's try to beat this in one try. I technically touched the last pig there, causing me to beat it, but I decided to launch again, making this crazy shot. 110 is the next level and last of this video, and it's quite underwhelming. But what's cool about this level is the first introduction to a new bird. This new bird is Blues. For those unfamiliar, Blues is a smaller, weaker bird who can multiply himself into 3. And I made sure to replicate this feature out of Lego. Now let's showcase it. Wow, these are a lot stronger than expected. That never would have happened in game. This was a pretty strong start, but for the next 2 shots, I completely missed the pig. I am now down to my last throw. And I miss. How can one be so bad at this? I think this is a sign to stop for today and continue in the next episode. If this video gets 690 likes, I'll drop episode 2 really early. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you guys next time when I join Godzilla to a game of basketball.